2 years had passed since that fateful morning in the alley, and Maria could hardly believe how much their lives had changed. She stood in the doorway of their new home, a small house with a real yard, watching Luna roll around in the grass, with 3 other rescue dogs they had helped rehabilitate. The sight filled her heart with a joy she never knew was possible. The move to the house had been made possible partly by Maria's promotion to head nurse at the hospital, and partly by the success of the Luna's Hope Foundation that Sophia had helped her mother establish. What started as a simple social media post about Luna's recovery had grown into a non-profit organization that helped fund medical care for severely neglected animals. Luna now had official training as a therapy dog, and her reputation had spread throughout the state. She wore a special vest during her work visits, and Maria had never seen her more proud or confident than when she was helping other animals learn to trust again. On this particular morning, Maria's phone rang with a call that would bring their story full circle in the most unexpected way. It was Jennifer from the downtown shelter, and her voice was urgent. "Maria, we have a situation that's exactly like Luna's case 2 years ago," Jennifer said. "A puppy was found in the same alley where you found Luna. She's in terrible condition, and she's completely shut down. None of our usual methods are working. Would you and Luna be willing to come in today?" Maria's heart started racing. The same alley. She looked out at Luna, who was now lying peacefully in a patch of sunlight, surrounded by the other rescue dogs she had helped heal. Could Luna handle seeing another animal in the same condition she had once been in? "We'll be right there," Maria told Jennifer when they arrived at the shelter. Maria could see the concern on everyone's faces. They led her to the isolation area where the new puppy was being kept. The sight took Maria's breath away. It was like looking back in time. The puppy was small, probably only 4 months old, with the same golden coloring as Luna. She was curled up in the back corner of her kennel, shaking with fear and refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Recalling her hope, Jennifer said quietly, "She was found yesterday morning by a construction worker. Same alley, same terrible condition. It's like history repeating itself." Luna approached the kennel slowly, and Maria watched carefully for any signs that this might be too difficult for her. But instead of distress, Maria saw something beautiful happen. Luna's entire demeanor changed. She became focused and purposeful, like she had found exactly what she was meant to do. Luna lay down in front of Hope's kennel and began making the soft, comforting sounds that had become her signature way of communicating with traumatized animals. Hope lifted her head slightly, and for the first time since arriving at the shelter, she showed interest in something. "It's going to be okay, little one," Maria whispered. As much to Hope as to herself, "Luna knows exactly how you feel, and she's going to help you through this." The rehabilitation process with Hope was both heartbreaking and inspiring. Luna seemed to understand that this puppy needed extra patience and gentleness. During their daily visits, Luna would demonstrate normal dog behaviors, eating, playing, trusting humans, while Hope watched from a safe distance. Maria found herself reliving many of the same challenges she had faced with Luna, but now she had experience and confidence. More importantly, she had Luna as a partner in the healing process. Sophia, now in her senior year of high school, had become an expert at documenting their work and managing the social media accounts that helped fund their rescue efforts. The breakthrough with Hope came in an unexpected way. One afternoon, during their usual session, Hope was watching Luna play with a soft toy. Luna picked up the toy and, very deliberately, placed it near Hope's kennel. Then she stepped back and waited. Hope stared at the toy for a long time. Then, moving slower than Maria had ever seen a puppy move, Hope reached one tiny paw through the kennel bars and touched the toy. Luna's tail wagged gently, as if she was saying, "Good job. You're learning to trust." Over the following weeks, Hope's progress mirrored Luna's journey from 2 years earlier. But with one major difference, she had Luna as a guide and teacher. The puppy learned to eat while people watched, to accept gentle touches, and eventually to play. Each milestone was celebrated by the entire shelter staff, who had become invested in Hope's recovery. The most emotional moment came When Hope was finally ready to leave her kennel and interact directly with Luna, Maria opened the kennel door, and Hope took her first tentative steps into the larger room. Luna was waiting patiently in the center of the space, and when Hope finally reached her, the older dog gently touched noses with the puppy. "She's going to be okay," Maria said. Tears in her eyes, Luna showing her that she's going to be okay. The story of Luna and Hope captured the attention of national media, and their rehabilitation sessions became a symbol of hope for animal rescue organizations across the country. But for Maria, the most important moment came when a wonderful family decided to adopt Hope. The Gonzalez family had been following Hope's story online and felt called to give her a home. They had experience with rescue animals and understood the patience and love that Hope would need. When they met Hope for the first time, Luna was right there, as if giving her approval of the match. "Will Hope be okay without Luna?" 8-year-old Ana Gonzalez asked Maria. Maria looked at Hope, who was now confident enough to accept treats from strangers and wag her tail. When people spoke to her, Luna taught her the most important lesson, Maria said. She taught her that she's worthy of love and that people can be trusted. Hope will carry that with her wherever she goes. The day Hope went to her new home was bittersweet. Luna seemed to understand that her job with the puppy was complete. She watched calmly as Hope left with her new family, her tail wagging as if she was proud of what they had accomplished together. That evening, Maria sat in their backyard with Luna and the other rescue dogs they had helped over the years. Rex, the former fighting dog, was now a gentle giant who loved playing fetch. Midnight, the terrified black dog from Luna's early shelter days, had become a confident, playful companion. Each animal represented a life saved and transformed. Sophia joined them outside, carrying her laptop to show Maria something. "Mom, look at this," Sophia said, opening an email. "It's from the shelter in Springfield. They want to start a program based on Luna's methods. And there's another one from Denver and one from Miami. Luna's work is inspiring rescue programs all over the country." Maria looked at Luna, who was lying peacefully among her pack of rescue friends, and marveled at the journey they had all taken together. From one terrified, dying dog in a dirty alley to a network of healing and hope that was touching lives across the nation. "You know what I think about sometimes?" Maria said to Sophia as they watched Luna and the other dogs play in the fading sunlight. "That morning when I found Luna, I thought I was saving her life. But really, she was saving mine. She taught me what it means to have purpose, to be part of something bigger than myself." Luna looked up at Maria with those same intelligent brown eyes that had first captured her heart in the alley. But now, instead of fear and pain, those eyes held confidence, love, and the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing you found your place in the world. As the sun set behind their little house, Maria realized that their story wasn't really about rescue at all. It was about transformation, about the amazing things that can happen when someone decides to choose love over convenience, hope over despair, and action over indifference. Luna had transformed from victim to healer, from broken to whole, from lost to found. And in doing so, she had shown everyone around her that no matter how dark things seem, there's always a chance for a new beginning. Sometimes you just need someone who believes in you enough to help you find your way home. 1 year after finding Luna in that dirty alley, Maria's life had changed in ways she never could have imagined. What started as a simple act of kindness had grown into something much bigger than just saving one dog. Luna's story was about to reach people far beyond their small neighborhood. It began when Sophia decided to share Luna's transformation on social media for a school project about resilience. She posted before and after photos of Luna, the heartbreaking image of the sick dog in the alley compared to the beautiful, healthy golden retriever she had become. Sophia wrote a simple caption telling Luna's story and thanking her mother for showing her what real compassion looked like. Neither Sophia nor Maria expected what happened next. The post was shared hundreds of times within just a few hours. People from all over the city began commenting, sharing their own rescue stories, and asking how they could help other animals like Luna. Local news stations picked up the story and soon Maria found herself being interviewed about the rescue that changed 2 lives. But the real surprise came when Dr. Peterson called Maria at work one day. "Maria, I've been thinking about Luna's story and how well she's doing," he said. "Have you ever considered that she might be able to help other animals who are going through what she went through?" Dr. Peterson explained that the animal shelter downtown was struggling with several severe cases of neglect and abuse. The animals were physically healing, but they remained terrified of humans and wouldn't trust anyone enough to be adopted. "Luna has something special," Dr. Peterson continued. "She understands fear and trauma in a way that most dogs don't. I think she could help these animals learn to trust again." The idea excited Maria, but she was nervous too. Luna had come so far, and Maria didn't want to put her in any situation that might bring back bad memories or cause her stress. The next weekend, Maria and Luna visited the animal shelter for the first time. The moment they walked through the doors, Maria could see that Luna understood exactly where they were. Her ears perked up, and she sniffed the air carefully, taking in all the scents of the many animals around them. Jennifer, the shelter manager, led them to a quiet room where they kept the most traumatized animals. In one corner was a small black dog named Midnight who had been found chained up in someone's backyard for months. Midnight hadn't let anyone touch him since arriving at the shelter 3 weeks earlier. "He won't eat if people are watching," Jennifer explained, "and he's terrified of everything, sounds, movements, even his own shadow." Luna approached Midnight's kennel slowly and lay down on the floor nearby. She didn't try to get closer or make any sudden movements. She just positioned herself where Midnight could see her and waited patiently for 20 minutes. Luna lay there quietly while Midnight watched her from the back corner of his kennel. Maria and Jennifer stood back, giving the dogs space to communicate in their own way. Then something beautiful happened. Midnight took one small step forward, then another. Luna remained perfectly still, her calm presence seeming to say, "I understand what you've been through, and it's going to be okay." By the end of their first visit, Midnight had moved to the front of his kennel and was lying down facing Luna. They weren't touching, but they were connecting in a way that no human had been able to achieve with Midnight. "I've never seen anything like that," Jennifer whispered to Maria. "It's like Luna is speaking his language." Word of Luna's special gift spread quickly through the shelter community. Soon, Maria and Luna were visiting twice a week, working with the most difficult cases. Luna seemed to have an instinct for what each animal needed. With some, she was playful and energetic, showing them that life could be fun again. With others, she was gentle and quiet, simply offering companionship and understanding. Maria started using her vacation days to spend more time at the shelter. She learned about animal behavior and trauma recovery, but mostly she watched Luna work her magic. Each success felt like a miracle. A dog who finally wagged his tail, a cat who came out of hiding, an animal who ate food while humans watched. The most challenging case was a large German shepherd named Rex who had been used for fighting. Rex was aggressive and unpredictable, and the shelter staff were considering whether he could ever be safely placed in a home. When Luna first met Rex, he was behind heavy barriers, growling and showing his teeth. Most dogs would have been terrified or aggressive in return, but Luna simply sat down at a safe distance and began what Maria liked to call her patient vigil. Day after day, Luna would visit Rex and sit in the same spot. She never tried to get closer, never showed fear, and never gave up. Slowly, Rex's growling became less intense. After 2 weeks, he stopped growling altogether when Luna arrived. After a month, he was actually watching for her visits and seemed disappointed when she had to leave. The breakthrough came on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Rex had been having a particularly difficult day, pacing in his kennel and showing signs of stress. When Luna arrived for their usual session, she did something she had never done before. She lay down and began making soft, comforting sounds. Rex stopped pacing and stared at Luna. Then, to everyone's amazement, he lay down too, copying her position. For the first time since arriving at the shelter, Rex looked peaceful. "Luna isn't just helping these animals," Jennifer told Maria that day. She's teaching us how to help them too. Watching her work has changed how our entire staff approaches trauma cases. Sophia had been documenting Luna's shelter work with photos and videos, sharing their journey online. The response was overwhelming. People from neighboring cities began asking if Luna could visit their shelters too. Veterinary students requested to observe her methods. Animal behaviorists wanted to study her techniques, but perhaps the most meaningful response came from the families who adopted the animals Luna had helped. They would send photos and updates showing happy, healthy pets living their best lives. Each photo was proof that Luna's gift was creating a ripple effect of healing that reached far beyond what Maria had ever imagined. One evening, as Maria watched Luna playing with a new rescue at the shelter, a young puppy, who had been afraid of everything just weeks before, she realized something profound had happened. Luna had transformed from a victim into a healer, from someone who needed saving into someone who saved others. You know what the most amazing part is? Maria said to Jennifer as they watched Luna gently encourage the puppy to play with a toy. I thought I was rescuing her, but she's the one who's been rescuing everyone else. The scared, broken dog from the alley was now a beacon of hope for animals and humans alike. Luna had found her purpose, and in doing so, she had shown everyone around her that healing was possible, that trust could be rebuilt, and that sometimes the greatest gift you can give the world is simply being proof that things can get better. As they prepared to leave the shelter that evening, Luna looked back at the kennels full of animals she was helping to heal. Her tail wagged gently, and Maria could swear she saw pride in those intelligent brown eyes. Luna knew exactly what she was doing, and she was just getting started. 6 months had passed since that life-changing morning in the alley, and Luna was becoming a completely different dog. Her golden coat now shined in the sunlight, and she had gained enough weight that you could no longer see her ribs. But the most amazing change was in her eyes. They sparkled with life and trust. That hadn't been there before. Every morning, Maria would wake up to find Luna sitting patiently by her bed, tail wagging gently. It had become their special routine. Maria would get dressed for work while Luna watched, and then they would have their morning walk around the neighborhood before Maria left for her shift in the hospital. These walks were more than just exercise. For Luna, they were her daily adventure. At first, she had been terrified of everything: cars, other dogs, even children playing in the distance. But with Maria's patient encouragement, Luna slowly began to explore her new world. The first time Luna showed interest in another dog, Maria almost cried with happiness. It happened at the small park near their apartment building. An elderly man named Robert was sitting on a bench with his calm old retriever, Buddy. Luna had been avoiding other dogs for months, but something about Buddy's gentle nature drew her in. She's been through a lot, hasn't she? Robert asked as he watched Luna take tiny steps closer to Buddy. Maria told him Luna's story while he watched the two dogs slowly get acquainted. But he seemed to understand that Luna needed extra patience, and he just lay quietly while she sniffed around him. When Luna finally touched noses with Buddy, Robert and Maria both smiled like proud parents. Dogs have a way of healing each other, Robert said, just like people do. That meeting with Buddy opened up a new chapter for Luna. She began to show interest in the world around her in ways that surprised Maria every day. Luna had an amazing ability to sense people's feelings, especially when someone was sad or upset. This became obvious when Sophia went through a rough patch at school. Some kids had been bullying her about her clothes and the fact that they didn't have much money. Sophia tried to hide it from Maria, but Luna seemed to know exactly when Sophia needed comfort. On the worst days, Luna would follow Sophia to her room and lie down next to her bed. She wouldn't ask for attention or try to play. She would just be there, a warm, comforting presence that somehow made everything feel better. I think Luna has superpowers, Sophia told Maria one evening. She always knows when I'm sad before I even realize it myself. Maria had noticed the same thing. After particularly difficult days at the hospital, especially when she lost a patient or dealt with a challenging situation, Luna would greet her at the door with extra gentle attention. The dogs seemed to understand that some days required more comfort than others. Their daily routine became something Maria looked forward to more than anything. In the mornings, after their walk, Luna would sit by the door and watch Maria get ready for work. She never whined or tried to follow. She just watched with those intelligent brown eyes, as if she was saying goodbye and promising to be there when Maria returned. During the day, Luna would spend time with Sophia when she got home from school. Sophia started bringing friends over, and Luna became the perfect host, friendly enough to make everyone feel welcome, but calm enough not to be overwhelming. The girls would do homework while Luna lay nearby, and somehow everyone seemed to focus better with her peaceful presence. In the evenings, the three of them would walk to the park together. This became Maria's favorite time of day. She would watch Sophia throw a ball for Luna, seeing both of them laugh and play without any worry about their problems. These moments felt like pure happiness. Luna's confidence grew every day, but she still had some fears to overcome. Men, especially, made her nervous. She would hide behind Maria whenever they encountered male strangers during their walks. Maria understood that Luna's past had left her with deep scars that would take time to heal. The breakthrough with men came unexpectedly. Robert, the elderly man with Buddy, had become a regular part of their morning routine. Every day, he would be sitting on the same park bench with Buddy, and Luna would visit with her new friend. Robert never pushed Luna to interact with him. He just talked quietly to Maria while the dogs played. One morning, Robert had brought some special treats for Buddy. Luna watched with interest as Buddy enjoyed his snack, and Robert noticed her attention. Would Luna like to try one? Robert asked Maria. Maria wasn't sure how Luna would react, but she nodded. Robert held out the treat in his open palm and waited patiently. Luna looked at the treat, then at Robert's kind face, then back at the treat. Very slowly, Luna stepped closer. She stretched her neck as far as she could, trying to reach the treat without getting too close to Robert, but the treat was just out of reach. Robert stayed perfectly still, letting Luna make the decision. Finally, Luna took one small step closer, then another. She gently took the treat from Robert's hand, and for the first time since Maria had known her, Luna didn't immediately back away from a man. Instead, she stood there for a moment, looking at Robert as if she was reconsidering everything she thought she knew about men. "Good girl, Luna," Robert said softly. "You're very brave." From that day forward, Luna began to trust Robert. It was slow progress, but each morning she got a little more comfortable. Soon she was letting him pet her head gently, and eventually she would even sit near his bench while Maria and Robert talked. This progress with Robert gave Luna confidence around other men too. The male man, who had always made her nervous, became someone she would actually wag her tail for. The young man who worked at the corner store started keeping treats behind the counter, just for Luna. But perhaps the most amazing development was how Luna started helping other people, just by being herself. Maria began to notice that people seemed to feel better after meeting Luna. Children would light up when they saw her. Elderly people would smile and want to tell stories about dogs they used to have. And even stressed out adults would seem to relax when they petted her soft fur. One afternoon, Maria and Luna encountered a woman crying on a park bench. Luna pulled gently on her leash, wanting to go closer. Maria wasn't sure what to do, but Luna seemed determined. "Excuse me," Maria said to the woman. "My dog Luna seems to want to meet you. Would that be okay?" The woman looked up with red, swollen eyes. "I love dogs," she said with a shaky voice. Luna approached slowly and gently placed her head on the woman's knee. The woman began petting Luna's soft fur, and Maria could see some of the tension leave her shoulders. "She's beautiful," the woman said. "What's her story?" As Maria told Luna's story of rescue and recovery, the woman listened intently. When Maria finished, the woman was quiet for a moment. "I'm going through a divorce," the woman finally said. "Some days I feel like I'm never going to be okay again. But hearing about Luna gives me hope that things can get better, even when they seem impossible." Walking home that day, Maria realized that Luna had become something special. Not just a beloved pet, but a source of comfort and hope for others. Luna had transformed from a broken, frightened creature into a confident, loving dog who seemed to understand that her job was to make the world a little bit better, one person at a time. That night, as Maria watched Luna sleeping peacefully on her bed, she marveled at the journey they had taken together. 6 months ago, Luna was dying alone in an alley. Now she was thriving, helping others heal, and showing everyone around her what it really meant to overcome the past and embrace a brighter future. The scared, broken dog was gone. In her place was Luna, confident, loving, and ready to share her gift of healing with anyone who needed it. The veterinary clinic was busy even though it was early morning. Maria sat in the waiting room with Luna wrapped in her jacket, feeling her heart pound as she watched other pet owners come and go. Luna hadn't moved much since they arrived. She just lay quietly in Maria's arms, breathing softly but looking so tired. When Dr. Peterson finally called them in, Maria could see the concern in his eyes as soon as he looked at Luna. The doctor had been working with animals for over 20 years, and Maria could tell he had seen cases like this before. "Let's get her on the examination table," Dr. Peterson said gently. "Can you tell me where you found her?" Maria explained about the alley while the doctor carefully examined Luna. His hands moved slowly and gently, checking her body for injuries and problems. Luna didn't fight or try to bite, even when the doctor touched sore spots. She just lay there, looking scared but somehow trusting. "This is going to take some time," Dr. Peterson said after his initial examination. "She's severely malnourished, dehydrated, and has several infections. That collar around her neck has been there so long it's grown into her skin. We'll need to surgically remove it." Maria felt her stomach drop. Surgery meant expensive bills, and she was already worried about how she would pay for basic treatment. She also has heartworm disease, the doctor continued, looking at some test results. "It's treatable, but it requires months of medication and careful monitoring. And her teeth are in terrible condition. Several will need to be removed." The numbers the doctor mentioned made Maria's head spin. $3,000, maybe more. That was more money than she had in her entire savings account. But as she looked down at Luna, who was now resting her head against Maria's arm, she knew she couldn't give up. "Do whatever she needs," Maria said firmly. "I'll find a way to pay for it." The next few hours were the longest of Maria's life. Luna was taken into surgery while Maria sat in the waiting room, calling her daughter Sophia to explain why she wasn't home yet. Sophia was 16 and used to her mother's unpredictable schedule. But she was surprised to hear about the dog. "Mom, you know Mr. Williams doesn't allow pets in our building," Sophia said over the phone. "I know, honey," Maria replied, "but I couldn't just leave her there to die." When Luna finally came out of surgery, she looked even smaller than before. The tight collar was gone, but there was a big bandage around her neck where it had been removed. She was sleepy from the medication, but her eyes found Maria's face as soon as she walked into the recovery room. "The surgery went well," Dr. Peterson told Maria, "but she's going to need a lot of care over the next few months. Daily medications, special food, regular checkups. Are you sure you can handle this?" Maria nodded, even though she wasn't sure about anything except that she loved this dog already. Taking Luna home was an adventure. Maria had stopped at a pet store and bought basic supplies, a bed, some food, medicine bowls, and a soft blanket. She spent money she didn't really have, but seeing Luna's tail move slightly when she saw the blanket made it worth every penny. Their apartment was small, just 2 bedrooms, a tiny kitchen, and a living room that barely fit a couch and television. But Maria set up a comfortable corner for Luna with her new bed and blankets. Luna sniffed around carefully, still moving slowly because of her surgery and weakness. Sophia came home from school that afternoon and stopped in the doorway when she saw Luna. "Mom, she's so skinny," Sophia whispered. "She's going to get better," Maria said, hoping she was right. The first few weeks were incredibly difficult. Luna was afraid of almost everything. Sudden noises made her shake, and she would hide behind Maria whenever someone came to the door. She wouldn't eat unless Maria sat right next to her, and she followed Maria around the apartment like a shadow dot at night. Luna would have nightmares. She would whimper and shake in her sleep, and Maria would get up to comfort her. Sometimes Maria would find herself sitting on the floor next to Luna's bed at 3 in the morning, gently petting her and whispering that everything was okay. The medical bills started arriving, and Maria felt overwhelmed. She picked up extra shifts at the hospital whenever possible, even though she was already exhausted. She sold some jewelry that had belonged to her grandmother, and she started buying generic groceries to save money. Sophia noticed how hard her mother was working and started helping more around the house. She would sit with Luna when Maria was at work, doing her homework while keeping the dog company. Slowly, Luna began to trust Sophia too. The breakthrough came about 6 weeks after the rescue. Maria came home from a particularly difficult day at work, feeling stressed about money and tired from staying up late with Luna the night before. She sat down heavily on the couch and put her head in her hands. That's when she felt something soft touch her leg. She looked down and saw Luna standing next to her, holding a small stuffed toy that Sophia had bought her. Luna dropped the toy in Maria's lap and then gently placed her head on Maria's knee. It was the first time Luna had ever brought her something. The first time she had approached Maria instead of the other way around. Maria felt tears running down her face as she petted Luna's soft fur, which was finally growing back healthy and golden. "Thank you, sweet girl," Maria whispered. "You always know exactly what I need." From that day forward, their bond grew stronger. Luna began to play with her toys, her appetite improved, and she started greeting Maria at the door when she came home from work. She was still nervous around strangers and afraid of loud noises. But with Maria and Sophia, she was beginning to show her true personality, gentle, loving, and surprisingly smart. The veterinary visits became routine. Dr. Peterson was amazed at Luna's progress and often commented on how much love could accomplish. Luna's weight increased, her coat became shiny, and the sad look in her eyes was slowly being replaced by something that looked like happiness. But perhaps the most amazing change was in Maria herself. Despite the financial stress and exhaustion, she found that caring for Luna gave her a sense of purpose she hadn't expected. Every small improvement in Luna's health felt like a victory, and every sign of trust Luna showed her felt like a gift. Their neighbors began to notice Luna during their walks. Mrs. Chen from upstairs would always stop to pet her gently, and young Tommy from down the hall started saving treats for her. Even Mr. Williams, their strict landlord, seemed to look the other way when he saw Luna in the hallway. 3 months after that terrible morning in the alley, Maria looked at Luna sleeping peacefully in her bed and realized something amazing had happened. She had set out to save a dying dog, but somehow, in the process, Luna had saved her too. The morning sun was just starting to peek through the tall buildings when Maria finished her long shift at the hospital. She had been working as a nurse for 12 hours straight, and all she wanted was to get home to her small apartment and rest. Her feet hurt, her back ached, and she was exhausted. Instead of taking her usual route home, Maria decided to walk through the narrow alley behind the old buildings. It was a shortcut she sometimes used when she was really tired. The alley wasn't the prettiest place. There were old boxes, trash cans, and forgotten things scattered around. Most people avoided this place, especially early in the morning. As Maria walked quickly through the alley, she heard something that made her stop. It was a soft, sad sound, like someone crying very quietly. She looked around but didn't see anyone. The sound came again, and this time she could tell it was coming from behind a large green dumpster. Maria's heart started beating faster. She wasn't sure what she would find, but something told her she needed to look. Slowly, she walked toward the dumpster and peered behind it. What she saw broke her heart into a million pieces. There, curled up in a tiny ball on a piece of old cardboard, was a dog. But this wasn't just any dog. This was a creature that had clearly suffered for a very long time. The dog's golden fur was so dirty it matted that you could barely see what color it was supposed to be. Her ribs were showing through her thin body, and Maria could count every bone. The dog's eyes were the saddest thing Maria had ever seen. They were big and brown, but filled with fear and pain. When the dog saw Maria, she didn't try to run away or bark. Instead, she just looked up with those heartbreaking eyes, as if she was asking for help but didn't really believe help would come. Maria knelt down slowly, trying not to scare the poor animal. She could see that the dog had wounds on her body. Some looked old, some looked new. Her paws were cut and sore. Around her neck was an old collar that had become too tight as the dog had grown. The collar was cutting into her skin, and Maria could see it was causing terrible pain. "Oh, sweet girl," Maria whispered softly. "What happened to you?" The dog's tail moved just a tiny bit, like she wanted to wag it but was too weak or too scared. Maria could see that this had once been a beautiful dog, probably loved by someone. But now she was alone, sick, and dying in this dirty alley. Maria reached into her purse and found a granola bar she had saved from work. She unwrapped it slowly and broke off a small piece. The dog's nose twitched when she smelled the food, but she was too scared to move closer. "It's okay, baby," Maria said in the gentlest voice she could manage. "I'm not going to hurt you." She placed the small piece of food on the ground near the dog and stepped back. The dog waited for a moment, watching Maria carefully. Then, very slowly, she stretched her neck forward and took the food. She ate it so fast that Maria knew she hadn't eaten in days, maybe weeks. Maria felt tears forming in her eyes. She was a nurse, and she was used to seeing people in pain. But this innocent creature suffering alone in this alley was almost too much to bear. She knew she had to do something, but she also knew she wasn't prepared for this. She didn't have a car with her. She had walked to work that day. She didn't have money for expensive veterinary bills. She was barely making ends meet as a single mother with her own daughter to take care of. Her apartment building didn't allow pets, and her landlord was very strict about the rules. But as Maria looked into those sad brown eyes, none of those problems seemed to matter. This dog was dying, and Maria was the only person who had found her. If she walked away now, the dog would probably be dead by tomorrow. "Okay, sweet girl," Maria said, making a decision that would change both of their lives forever. "We're going to figure this out together." Maria took off her nurse's jacket and wrapped it gently around the dog. The poor creature was so weak that she didn't resist. In fact, she seemed grateful for the warmth and comfort. Maria carefully lifted the dog, surprised by how light she was. Much delight for a dog her size. As Maria carried the dog out of the alley, she felt the animal's body relax against her chest. For the first time in who knows how long, this dog felt safe in someone's arms. The dog's breathing was shallow and her heartbeat was fast, but she seemed to understand that help had finally come. Maria walked to the main street and called a taxi. The driver initially hesitated when he saw the dirty dog, but something about Maria's determined expression made him agree to take them to the nearest animal emergency hospital. During the ride, Maria gently petted the dog's head, careful not to touch any of the sore spots. The dog looked up at her with those big brown eyes, and Maria could swear she saw a tiny spark of hope there that hadn't been there before. "What's her name?" the taxi driver asked, looking in his rearview mirror. Maria realized she had been thinking of the dog as sweet girl, but hadn't given her a real name. Looking down at the golden fur that was slowly becoming visible under all the dirt, Maria smiled softly. "Luna," she said. "Her name is Luna." The dog's ears perked up slightly when she heard the name, as if she approved of Maria's choice. Luna, it meant moon, something beautiful that shines even in the darkness. It seemed perfect for this brave little soul who had survived so much. As the taxi pulled up to the animal hospital, Maria took a deep breath. She didn't know what the doctors would say. She didn't know how much this was going to cost. She didn't know how she was going to manage any of this. But she knew one thing for certain. She wasn't going to let Luna suffer alone anymore. The automatic doors of the hospital opened, and Maria carried Luna inside, ready to face whatever came next. This was just the beginning of their journey together. A journey that would test them both but ultimately show them both what it really means to be saved.